honey, these people and these things that are coming out of their mouths are going to keep on crunching up their behinds, honey. I can see it. I can see it. And I'm like, come on through, Cookie. I'm going up on my soapbox. That's basically it. Let's talk about drag and all its forms. What, Cookie? Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars 3. This is episode 4, and yes, we did Snatch Game. We've already got the Snatch Game. I said, okay, let's go. I was real excited about it. I always am. You know, Snatch Game is, I think, not just mine, but probably everybody's favorite episode of the season. They actually, when they went into the workroom to actually just do the tour around to see who everybody was doing and how their progress was coming, Ru came in with Marc Jacobs. So that was exciting for the girls. Marc Jacobs came through and, you know, he had a lot to say about different things. And he rolled up on BB and right away picked up that she was doing Grace Jones. So I'm sure that really boosted her confidence way up there. Real interesting. But before we get to that, let's jump backwards to coming in the workroom after the last elimination. As we go down to the mirror, you remember Milk left a little nasty message about things being bogus for Kennedy. And Kennedy was like, you know what, it is what it is. She was just very truthful with it. You know what? We had a conversation. I didn't like the way he came for me. He came for my drag. I didn't care for it. I sent him home. Now, me personally, I had no problem with that. I had no problem with it at all because, again, this is dog eat dog. If you already told me that you don't see it for my drag, what am I leaving you here for? What am I leaving you here for? Because as soon as you have a chance to throw me out, you're going to throw me out, right? So, being as though you voiced it, you got to go. I got the lucky bounce. You got the plane ticket. See, boo? I had no problem with that. Nothing whatsoever. And plus, when it came to Milk, it was time for Milk to go. Milk was screwing up. It was time to go anyway. So she didn't have to say anything. She could have just said, I don't see it for her drag. And left it at that. But Kennedy's Kennedy. And Kennedy said exactly what she thought of the situation. So I was there with Kennedy. I agreed. Anyway. So then we ran into this little situation where Trixie actually had a note that Thorgy had left. And in that note, she called Shangela a bitch. And Trixie then posted it up on the wall. So, we're not going to play games here. They tried to play these little games. You're trying to play mind games. You're trying to throw Shangela off of her game. That's what you're trying to do, Trixie. Bitch, you're not slick. You're not slick. She threw that shit up there, and then she had something to say about that whole little thing with Kennedy. Well, is it just going to be like we could get eliminated because we don't like a person? Can we just get eliminated for that? And I was looking around, and I was starting to see a little something about Trixie that didn't sit real good with me. And I'm just going to leave that right there where it's at until I could do some further investigation into it. But I started to see a little something about Miss Trixie that don't sit so well with me. I didn't like the way she handled Shangy, and I didn't care for the way that her face was all tuned up and twisted up when it came to talking about Kennedy. And then I had to go back and I was like, you don't seem to like Chi-Chi too much either. Tricks are for kids, Trixie. Now, I don't know. But I'm starting to see a little pattern that I don't care for too much. Y'all go on down in the comments, because I know y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all go on down in the comments, and y'all tell me what y'all think. But I'm going to leave it right there. Anyway, I said, here we go again. Here we go again. That her and Shangela ended up having an exchange. And she basically uh just just shut Shangela down and basically let her know that her feelings about the letter, she didn't give a shit about them and whatever and whatnot, and then ended up dismissing Shangela out of the, so just get out of my station. She talked to Shangela like she was the help. Then she thought better about it after we was doing a little run through and we started seeing what was going on and who was doing what and the snatch game and all of this. And then she miraculously rolled back. Then she made an apology to Shangela. I said, Trixie bitch. Whatever. I'm watching you, Trixie bitch. I got my good eye on you, whore. I said, okay. So she apologized and that was that. So here we go. Here's the rundown of the girls with this snatch game. Trixie did RuPaul. And she said that she actually does it while, she's out on the road and all of that. It was a fail. It was a fail. You know what I mean? There's more to being RuPaul than being blonde, tall, with a dress with flowers on it, and big pretty hair. There's more to it. There is a candor that Ru has that's real hard to capture. That's why she is who she is. She's RuPaul because she really, people really frown upon people trying to do RuPaul for snatch games and different things like that, and anything that has to do with the show, because it's very hard to duplicate her. That's why she's RuPaul. It is something about her. It's just something about her being that makes her hard to really pull off. And it's, she does the corny jokes and you could do all that stuff, but it's just something about Ru that makes Ru. And it just wasn't there. Now, I thought, bringing her back up, Milk. When Milk did the boy Ru in her season, her original season, I loved it. I thought it was cool. It was offbeat. People weren't doing boy characters and stuff. And it was actually good because the boy Ru is actually easier to pull off than the girl Ru. The girl Ru is a whole different animal. And Trixie just didn't do a good job. She didn't look bad. But again, that makeup, I looked at her face, it still was Trixie in the face and Ru all around. It was like you took a piece like this off of Trixie's face and stuck it in there. Ru don't have all this shit. That's a Trixie thing. Everything is Trixie. That's, as soon as you look at that face, that's Trixie. So I was like, I don't know about that. Anyway, but that was that. So I didn't really care for her RuPaul. And then she was doing all those little quirky little things that Ru does. But on Ru, they come off as Ruisms and they're funny. With Trixie, it came off like Ru was on uppers, downers, and quaaludes and crack and some more shit. She was shaking and ducking and dodging, and I said, "Girl, what's going on, honey?" I was like, "All right," and then she was just throwing out shit and over talking and kind of acting like she was running the game because you're playing RuPaul on the snatch game, not RuPaul running the snatch game. It was just fucked up. I didn't care for it. It was a fail for me. Kennedy, Ru told her in the workroom, "Girl, if you are able to pull this off, you'll be the first queen in the history to win the snatch game twice." Because she won as Little Richard on her season, tore it down, tore it down. But she had a complete fail. I was like, As much as I loved her Little Richard, I hated her Phaedra Parks. She did Phaedra Parks. I absolutely hated it. I hated it. I didn't care for it at all. There was nothing about it that I liked. It just fell flat. And I don't think it was Kennedy's fault. I don't think Phaedra's all that funny. Their Phaedra don't knock me out. So that might be part of it too. Like, I don't, I'm not thinking about Phaedra's ass. Anyway, Ben Delacreme did Paul Lynde. It was very good. I was kind of worried because I'm like, come on, we're really getting into this thing of doing men now. And I guess if you do it well, you do it well. And she did. She did it well. Even if it's a gay man, it's you skating the line with doing a male character, because some people are going to be for it and some people are going to be against it. I just think I don't know. Because there's a risk factor. There's a risk factor. Like, playing a gay man is funny. You know, you're already halfway to the funny. You know what I mean? Because, you know, that's like if you play Ross Matthews. Ross Matthews is so goddamn hilarious. So all you got to do is pull off the look, and that's it. When you do a gay man, not just any man, but a gay man, like Little Richard, who swear he ain't gay, but she is. Everybody think about Pritchard. But you're already halfway to the funny. You know what I mean? And then you're standing out already because you're amongst this whole panel of girls. So, but then there's that risk of, are they going to be using it or are they not? Well, anyway, she did a good job. Ben did a good job because Paul Lynde actually does act like Ben Delacreme. So it didn't surprise me that she was able to pick that off real good. But she did a good job. Chi Chi did Maya Angelou. No, baby. That was all wrong. All wrong, all wrong, all wrong. Chi Chi, as a person, Maya Angelou was wrong for her because Chi Chi is not an intellectual enough to be able to pull off Maya Angelou. And don't take it the wrong way. I'm not saying Chi Chi's stupid or anything like that. Chi Chi is just Chi Chi. Chi Chi is very down home, southern, you know, that whole feel, like you can't help but like her kind of thing. Maya Angelou she's the original deep. And Chi Chi herself ain't deep. There ain't nothing deep about Chi Chi. Chi Chi is flat up, what you see is what you get, and let's have fun, bitch, let's have a crab boil. That's Chi Chi. So she would really, her acting ain't good enough to be able to pull off somebody as intellectual as Maya Angelou. And that was the whole thing. She spelled her name wrong, you know, and it just was off. It just wasn't good. It wasn't good at all. She flatlined on it. Now, Shangela, shut it down. She played Jennifer Lewis, and it didn't surprise me that she would be able to do Jennifer Lewis. She's like her best friend. So, dead on it. And it was good. You couldn't even deny it. You could not deny it. She did the hell out of Jennifer Lewis, and by far, one of the funniest lines was when, we had Kristen Chenoweth, who is a big fan of the show. She came in and played herself. So that added another little thing to the panel where you actually got a real live woman who is a real live celebrity who is a super fan and everybody knows who she is, playing herself. So that added another element of the Snatch Game being hard. Well, baby, when Shangela looked over and was like, oh, yes, me and her, you know I know her, honey. We're both Broadway girls, me and her. I worked with her, just that thing and the other, and then turned around. And they said, did y'all really work together? She'll say, child, no, that was a lie. I ain't never worked with that bitch. I about fell on the floor. I fell on the floor because that was so Jennifer Lewis, you know? And Jennifer Lewis is funny. She is funny and undeniably funny. So it was good. Shangela killed as Jennifer Lewis. And she would have actually been my pick. She would have been my pick overall for Snatch Game. Aja. Again, I am so proud of Aja. Aja played the hell out of Crystal LaBeija. Oh my God. But again, you have to be a ballroom connoisseur if you're of a young age, or either you are an older queen like myself who knows the ballroom to actually know who Crystal LaBeija is. It was perfect. It was perfect. But the only thing where she was going to be able to beat Shangela is because there's more material. There was more material to go off of with Jennifer Lewis, then there's a little piece of Crystal Evasion that people know. People know she has that stank face and the way she talks, but there weren't a whole lot of opportunities to show like different stuff of Crystal. Because all we know with Crystal is that she's very yes, darling, and she's very much the ballroom New York back in the day. You'd have to know that world to know how good Aja was. Damn good. Damn good. And every opportunity that she got, she stuck it. She stuck it. I was so proud of her. I was so proud of her. But it was just one, if it was a different season and Shangela wasn't in, she could have snatched it and ran with it, I think. But it was just, sometimes that's how that falls. But I was so proud of Aja. She did the shit out of Crystal. And she looked just like Crystal. Because Crystal looked just like Amy Winehouse. She killed Amy Winehouse and she killed Crystal. Aja, do your shit, bitch. Do your shit. And I'm so glad that she's doing as well as she is. Because people were questioning her and why she was there. She's showing you bitches exactly why she's there. Do your shit, Aja. Anyway, moving on. BB did Grace Jones. Now, Mark Jacobs picked up right away that BB was doing Grace Jones. I have to be honest. I wasn't crazy about BB's Grace Jones. It was like, whatever. I knew right away with BB it was going to be somebody with an accent, someone of an African descent. And I was like, I didn't even want her to go there. I wanted her to stretch out and do something, that, because I just never, I thought she would do fine. But I knew she would go with somebody with an accent, somebody of African descent. And I just figured that's what they were expecting from her, and they weren't going to really pay her that much attention. And that's what they did. They didn't pay her that much attention. She was funny. She did a couple little things, but I was just like, I like my Grace a little weirder than that. But okay, it's cool. It was enough to be safe. I'll give her that. It was enough to be safe. Okay, so top two. Oh, they did Flower Power. I don't even have really much to say about that. Flower Power was the runway. Afterwards, everybody's wearing these flowered outfits. Ain't none of them knocked me out. It was just like, whatever. None of them were bad, but none of them knocked me out. It was just, so what? Top two ended up being Shangela and Ben Delacreme. Both ended up being the tops. Right before we did that, there was this little conversation that Shangela and Ben Delacreme had. And Ben was saying, this being in the top, this, that, and the other, she whining and crying. And Shangela peeped game and was like, girl, I see you, honey. I see you. You keep winning and winning and winning, and then you're playing like, oh, well, I'm really not sure. But meanwhile, we could see that underneath you're giving, I am letting these bitches have it, honey. Shangela was peeping game all over the place, and I was laughing. Anyway, so once they did the top, and then bottom three was Kennedy, Trixie, and Chi Chi. Flat out. Said, okay. So BB and Aja were safe. They both were safe, and yeah, it's cool. So they get over there, they get to having their little conversations. Chi Chi, you can't read her. Chi Chi has a great attitude. She wasn't groveling. She wasn't begging. She wasn't making excuses. She went over there. She was very professional. She sat with Ben and was like, girl, just be fair. It is what it is. I've been in the bottom 4 times, whatever. If I go home, I'm cool. If I don't go home, I'm cool with that too. But it is what it is. And her attitude was so great that I'm like, I wouldn't have sent Chi Chi nowhere. I wouldn't have. I would have sent Chi Chi nowhere. And I think you already know from the beginning of this review who I would have chose. Night Trixie. But anyway, Shanji was just as honest with Trixie. She was like, girl, so listen, the way this game goes, I need to know if I'm creating alliances. I need to know if I'm sending a girl home, am I sending the right girl home? And the girl I'm keeping, is that girl going to think the same way about me? And of course, Trixie was like, well, I just would hope that what happened earlier today, oh, fuck you, girl. Fuck you. You didn't give a shit. You gave Shangela the blues, bitch. And then you thought more of it after the fact. Fuck you, Trixie. Anyway, but that's what she gave. Kennedy was Kennedy. You know, Kennedy went right to, look, this is what I did. I thought I was better than this person, that person, that person. And you know how Kennedy is. Just straight up front. Whatever she thinks is what you're going to get. You got to respect it for what it is. You either like it or you don't. Flat out. So they go ahead and they do the lip sync. And lip sync was I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It, honey, Miss Katy Perry. And remember, Shangela's funny. So is Ben. They did their lip sync and I was just stuck. Because I was like, you can't pick one because it was such a good performance, but it was good together. You couldn't even pull it apart because half of what they did needed the other person. Like they were throwing chapstick and throwing breath mints at each other and shit. It was like a group performance. You couldn't pull one from the other. And I guess Ru felt the same way I did because she gave them both $5,000 a piece and then told them, girl, it is what it is, honey. Y'all tied and whatever lipstick you got, that's who's going home. If two bitches go home, two bitches go home. It is what it is. I said, come on through, Ru. And that's what happened. So when they did their lipsticks, I was so upset. But Ben Delacreme chose Chi-Chi, which I kind of figured that she kind of was going to. And Shangela chose Chi-Chi. I was like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Shanji. But then I thought about it and I said, Real World versus Wow Entertainment World. Who you going to run into out there in them streets? Trixie, or are you going to run into Chi-Chi? I could be wrong, but I don't know. I think there was a method to Shanji's madness, but I was disgusted. I would have liked to see them both. If I was cool with if Chi-Chi had to go. I wanted Chi-Chi to stay, but I wanted Trixie gone. I wanted Trixie gone. Period. If I had to sacrifice Chi-Chi for Trixie to go, I'd have been okay with that. But I really wanted Trixie gone. Anyway, that's all I had to say about this. Last thing I thought was really, really groovy with this episode. We had a guest judge, which was Nicole Byer, who is a super fan that Ru actually brought in to actually judge as a guest judge. And I thought that was really, really nice. That was really cool. I thought that was real cool. And she was a good judge. She was dead on. She knows exactly what she's talking about. I guess she's a super fan. And I thought that was good. I thought that was really cool of Ru to give that opportunity to her. So congratulations to you, Nicole Byer. I'm sure you had a ball sitting on that judging panel. Anyway, all right, you guys. Thank you guys for watching. And I'll catch you guys next week. Later.